Would you like to sign in?
Sure. Should I use my real name?
Please.
By the Pilgrim Baptist Church, and back then Heglish Records was open, so I went and bought me the record. And as you can see in the background, there's part of Slag where they filmed when they jumped over the bridge. And the second part of my story, when I attended Guadalupe School, we waited in the school bus. We waited 2 hours just to get over the bridge while they filmed that scene, and they jumped over the bridge. And when I was in 4th grade, the teacher told us, it was art class, and the teacher told us, look out the window and see whatever you see and draw whatever you want out from the window. Well, they were filming the movie, The Blues Brothers. They had trailers everywhere. They had cameras everywhere. The actors were walking around. So I drew a picture of them filming at Pilgrim Baptist Church, and I drew a picture of the steeple and the cross, which is tilted, and the cross was barely hanging. And later on that week, they went down and jumped over the bridge. And finally, when the movie came out a year later, my brother and I, we begged our mother to dress us up for Halloween like the Blues Brothers. So at that time, I'm still chunky like I was back then. So I asked my mother, I'll be John Belushi. My brother was skinnier than I, so he was Jake Elwood. So it's a great film. It shows a lot of the community, shows a lot of the history, and it's actually, to me, I think of it as a musical more than a movie, because every scene, there was great music to the film. I had the honor to meet Dan Aykroyd years later. He came out with a vodka bottle, and when I met him at the liquor store, he signed my album for me, and he couldn't believe that somebody still had the album. When I went and met him, I was dressed like this, like the Blues Brothers, and they had the Bluesmobile out in front of Beanie's liquor store, and that's when the Blackhawks were going to the championship. So it was in 2010 when I met him, and he signed this, and they had the Bluesmobile with the Blackhawks logo, but they still had the microphone on the very top, like you could see here in this little toy replica.
Let me zoom in on that.
This is a model toy. It's a scene of the Bluesmobile getting chased by the state trooper car.
Yeah, we got it.
Let me try to open it up. I never opened it before. It's all taped, but
I pretty well got the idea. Well, one more time. Hold it right there, man. Again. Let it focus on. Yeah, good. That's good. We got it pretty much.
In the back, they show the picture they took, which is the same one on the album when they were parked by the 95th bridge over there by the train tracks by Calumet Fishery. My name is Manuel Soriano. I was grown up and brought up on the South Chicago. Later I moved to the east side and attended Our Lady Guadalupe Grammar School. Years later I went to Washington High School, and always been infatuated with the Blues Brothers movie. In fact, whenever my family and I go by the 95th bridge, I always tell people we're on a mission from God. And we pretend like we're jumping over the bridge going really fast. But this was one of my first albums that I bought at Heglish Records. I was about 10 years old. And years later, technology advanced so much, I went and bought the CD for the great sound. I used to have the tape on VHS. After moving so many times, I don't know where it went, but I went and bought the DVD, and this DVD is the 25th year anniversary, which has a documentary with Dan Aykroyd telling you behind the scenes with the director, and a lot of it they ad-libbed. They had a script, but every time when they would try to film, John Belushi would always say something that was very funny, so they just kept it in the film.
They both had a strong improv background too, which probably contributed a lot to that.
Yeah, coming from Second City and then working their way up to Saturday Night Live. Both of them, to me, are great inspiration for Chicago, because not only was it with the Blues Brothers, but also with the Billy Goats hamburgers when they did the scene, and they were in the background as Greek cooks, and they would call out the order, and the people would say, "Well, what do you serve here?" "We serve cheeseburgers," and here's John Belushi in the background putting down the cheeseburger. "Okay, cheeseburger," and they're both smoking cigarettes, because cigarettes was legal to smoke anywhere. And the lady would ask, "Do you have any fries?" "No fries, chips." And then he would give away chips right away. And she was, "Well, what do you have to drink? Do you have Pepsi?" "No Pepsi, Coke." So all the time someone's, "Well, let me get a cheeseburger." "Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger." And he was putting down cheeseburgers, cooking at her randomly, when actually people were only ordering one at a time, but the guy just kept saying cheeseburger, so the cook just kept putting them down, the cook.
That's still on YouTube. I saw it not so
Yeah,
long ago.
yeah.
That's good.
These are very nice pictures. They have some pictures like this inside the Calumet Fishery House. I remember when the Daily Calumet newspaper was around on East 91st in Baltimore, and they took lots of pictures, and every week they were showing pictures of Dan Aykroyd and Belushi around South Chicago and Commercial Avenue, and the scenes, behind the scenes, and the other actors that were in it, like James Brown played the minister, Shaka Khan was the lead singer in the choir, and Cab Calloway was their best friend who raised them as a child in the orphanage home. And just last night, I'm flipping through the channels, and the Blues Brothers was on TV.
And how many years later?
36 years.
36 years later.
Yeah.
Great, phenomenal movie.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think that was pretty much all it.
Your album?
Yes.
Oh.
No scratches, still in mint condition.
Oh, that's it. Wow. Oh, the record too. Here we go. Terrific. Thank
The other
you.
camera is still running, so go ahead.
Okay, Matt, can you give us a quick rundown in regard to Blues Brothers and you and
Oh,
Joliet? So we also
Oh,
have this on here
yes.
because we had the vacuum cleaner running at the other site.
Oh, okay.
This,
What? Oh, about.
so it was what, 1979?
It was 79 or 80, it had to be, right?
It came out in 80.
Yeah,
In
79?
79,
yeah.
in November of 79. Okay. Now that's running.
This one's still running.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was I was a supervisor at the Joliet Correctional Center, and when the Universal Studios came in and they made an agreement with the Illinois Department of Corrections that permitted the Joliet prison to open its west Salad Port, which had been closed and not used. The opposite Salad Port was being used to transport these freight and food and prisoners. But this Salad Port, which was very convenient because it opened out into Collins Street, which was actually the first street that after the Blues Brothers left the Joliet. So now at Joliet, they used the
That's good, that is good.
they used the clothing room and made it into a jail cell, which it wasn't. And they used, I think, 24 residents. That,
Keep talking.
that I think they were paid. It's on the front page of the Insider. That would be all. I should have a copy of that here. I've given you. I know you have this. So those details of that and the amount of money that the residents received, I believe it was $24 each, which quite a sum of money, and was able to enjoy a lot of conversation. I was asked, was I involved in the actual shooting, and that wasn't my function. My function was to see that the men were dressed and behaved in the order in which they did do, and we're very grateful. But other than that, I was not involved in any of the production. But I did witness, John Belushi and some of the actors and the people, that were involved with the production.
Perfect timing.
Snatched it and just swayed me over.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up now.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Mulek. I'm a lifelong resident of the southeast side of Chicago. And when I was in my late 20s, on a Saturday afternoon, I didn't have a whole lot to do. So I took a walk over to the 95th Street Bridge to watch the filming of this movie that was coming out. And it's the Blues Brothers. And of course, anyone who's seen it knows on the 95th Street Bridge is where Jake and Elwood take the car and drive over the open bridge. I found out very quickly that movie making is not as exciting as watching a movie, and I watched a number of takes, the stunt drivers pulling right up to the bridge and then stopping, the dead stop. I don't think I ever actually saw the bridge open. So that was kind of fun, and obviously it's one of my favorite movies, and I have another story about it as well. I went to a conference in New York City a while ago. Well, actually, the year the movie came out. And I went with a friend who was from the Joliet area. And she had a friend, also from Illinois, who worked in publishing in New York. And they got tickets to a screening of the Blues Brothers. And as she tells me, she and her friend were the only people in the screening room just about falling down laughing. All the New Yorkers sat there, kind of like, we don't get it. You had to be from Illinois, specifically from this area, to get it. And I can't believe it's been however many years, 36, since the movie was done. It's definitely a Chicago classic. Thank you.